Hey guys, this is Mehul from Simplified Learning. So in this video tutorial, I'm just going to talk about one of my application that is using CRUD operation in Angular and Node. So this is a complete MeanStack app which is related to blogging kind of application you can see on my screen. So this is the application created by me in Angular Node, and the database I have used is a MongoDB. So it is a kind of a main stack app. So we'll discuss all these things like what is main stack and all of other stuff, but let's go through app first of all for a second. So here I'm able to make a authentication system, and then I'm able to create a post. On the home page we have few posts which is written by some authors, so you can see here. Then we have a create post, so let's create one post. This is a test post, and then we'll pick one image. No, stop. Yeah, so let's pick one image. This is a test post. Save post. So you can see the post appears here at the very bottom, and you can see we have all the profiles of the authors who have registered on this site. And we can go to the my post section where we can see all our posts. So these are the posts I have created. Clicking on this post, we have one nice edit and delete feature. So we can edit our blog, we can edit our post, we can delete our post. In the profile section you can check your username and email id and whatever the post you have created. So here your username, you can edit your profile, you can even change your bio. Then we have this something called whatever the post we have created so far, and then we have a logout button. So we'll go through this all things. We can create all this stuff on our application using MeanStack application. So we can go through the details one by one. Let's start from the beginning. So here is the complete explanation of how I created this application from the beginning. You can find the code links where I have uploaded my code. You can find the live demo. I have deployed this application. So here is the live demo. You can see mehul.github.io blog app, and the post which we have created right now, this is 2/11/21 7:42 p.m. So you can check this one. So yeah, this is the one post I have created, but I'm not authenticated, so I don't have edit and delete option. So yeah, this is the complete demo, or this is a complete textual representation of the application I have created. So you can go through this blog as well. I will provide the detail to link to this blog in the description of the video. So let's get started from the beginning. So CRUD operation using mean stack. So first of all, what is a mean stack? Any application or any working demo which you are going to present is using the four things, that is a MongoDB or Mongoose, E for Express, A for Angular, and N for Node. So any of your working demo which is including all these four technologies or these four things, you can call that particular thing as a mean stack. So now after going through mean stack, why we are using mean stack, what are the benefits of the mean stack? So when we talk about mean stack, so mean stack is very faster because in the backend we use a MongoDB, and MongoDB is not the traditional database. Instead, it uses the store the document in a JSON format, so we can directly query our results. We can even query our database using any one of the field of a JSON. Then it is very reliable. Now, what I mean by reliable? So when we talk about reliability. So when I talk about reliable, you are writing the code in a JavaScript for both client and the server at the same time. Now by mean JavaScript, Angular and Node both are the framework of JavaScript. So you are writing the code for the front end in Angular, and when you write the code for the server, that is in Node.js. But ultimately it is a code written in JavaScript. Then we talk about other advantage. Then you have a better separation of code. Node is much safer and secure. So these are all the benefits of it. Now to begin with the main stack application, what are the basic requirements you should have? So very first thing I will tell you is you should have the Node.js installed in your system. And once you install the Node.js, you can definitely get the Node.js by going to the Google and typing download Node.js. You can install the Node.js, then you should have a MongoDB. The third thing which is you need is Express.js. Now what is Express.js? Express.js is another web application framework. It comes with the nodes, and it is a kind of acting a middleware whenever we are sending any request from our front end to the back end. So whatever request we receive at the back end, we can perform some operation using Express.js. Like if I say some operation, if we are sending one token with the front end, and if you want to check that token is present at the back end, we can do that using Express.js. Then definitely the fourth one is our front end framework, Angular. So any of the Angular version you can use, 2 plus version. The application will still hold good for any 2 plus version. So these are all the plugins and tools I have used. We have already discussed this, and the editor I am going to use for this is Visual Studio Code. You can set up the Node.js by going to this link and download the Node.js as per your system requirement, that is 32-bit or 64-bit. Then you have to make a folder for the backend part. So in the application I have created one folder. You can run this command mkdir backend. It will create a backend folder. cd is for change directory, and it will go to the backend. And npm init y will create one package.json for you in the backend part. So this is a package.json. It is a heart of any application when you are working with the front end JavaScript framework. Then you have to configure your npm pack. You have to configure your backend with the following packages. So you need one body parser, you need a course, you need Express.js for middleware, and you need a Mongoose. Now let's discuss all these things one by one. What is a body parser, course, Mongoose, and Express? So when I say about body parser is nothing but whenever you send any request with some data, it is used to parse that data, and the data is specifically should be JSON. So body parser is something which is parsing our JSON data coming with the request. Course stand for cross origin resource sharing. So whenever you are working with the front end and back end application, whenever you are using two things at the same time, you need some data sharing from the front end to the back end, and this two things might be at the different domain. So let's if I give you an example, so let's say my application is running on localhost 4200, that is this one, and I'm for backend request, I'm sending my request to this one. Here it is. So yeah, for the backend I'm sending request to this domain. Now http is something, this is not in my localhost domain. So for this kind of operation from data sharing between two domains, we need a course parser to let our application send the data between two domains. We can definitely use some middlewares to do that. We will see how we'll do that. For setting up a middleware to create this kind of course and allowing data sharing, we need some middlewares, and this middlewares will be created with the help of Express.json. Then Mongoose is a object data model for our MongoDB. It will allow us to interact with the Mongo database. Then you can use a NodeMon server. Now what is a NodeMon? So NodeMon is nothing but whenever we make any changes in our backend part, if you want to see live update like the way we are able to see the update in a front end application, we need a NodeMon, and we need to configure it. So here is some installation of a NodeMon, and here is the package.json for the backend. So here I have created a script for the NodeMon. So whenever I will run npm start, it will create a NodeMon app.js. So it will run this command, and this command will just show the live updates of the backend part as well. Now this is the kind of a folder structure I have already shown in the image. So you can compare this folder structure. There might be a difference of 2 or 3 files with the time, because I am continuously fixing the bugs in my application. So you can definitely go get the latest code from the GitHub, and the GitHub link is here at the top. I will also provide the GitHub link in the description as well. Then we need to start coding and write our app.js. So whenever we are starting with the backend, very first thing we do is we configure our backend. We make our server up from the backend. So we need to write this we need to import this require packages. Then so first of all, we don't have a DB part, right? So we need to create our database, and then we need to write our app.js. So I'll skip the step number 4 and I'll come to the step number 5. So for DB, you can go to the MongoDB Atlas login. So when you come to this, you have to register for this. I have already registered on this, but you can register on this using your mail ID, and then you can start for free. You can sign up with the Google. It is as per your choice. I have already account created with this. So these are some basic setup you can find on Google as well. But for the sake of this video, I'm just showing you one demo. So yeah, you can come to this MongoDB Atlas. You need to register on this. You need to create one account. Then you can log into your account and you can create one project in this MongoDB Atlas. So here you can see I have already created one project, and then you can just go to the connections. Here you can see somewhere connections. So you can see the connect cluster here is, you can create one cluster if you don't have any, and then you can create select the second option. You can select your node version and then you can get this URL. So you need to grab this URL, or you can copy it directly and then you can paste it. The password and the username you will be asked when you are creating one cluster. So you have to replace the password and username with your username and password. So this is something related to Mongoose part, and then you can create your db.js. So our db.js will basically have this Mongoose. We need to install it, we need to make a global promise of what it is, we will see it. Then this is the URL I have asked you. So user and the password you can replace with yours, and then you have a database somewhere, so you can mention your database here, and you can just copy and paste this part. So use create index, use new URL parcel. These are the technology whenever you are creating one database indexes. And if the connection is successful, it will give a connection successful. If not, it will give an error. Then you can come to the step 4 and then you can start writing your app.js. So you can import these 3 paths, and you can import your DB as well. Right now we don't have any router, so you don't have to import any router. Then you can configure your Express.js application. You need to mention app.use codes. Here I am mentioning the codes, and the port number for our application will be 3000 by default if we're not providing any port number. Then we are mentioning one route that whenever we are making one request from the front end, then it should go to the post router. So we will see this what it is. You can skip this part as of now, and you have the app.listen. So this is our backend portion completed for the app.js. So let's whatever the routes we want to create in the backend. So let's say you want to create a post route, you want to create a user route for the management of user, you want to create a profile for the management of profile. So you can create those routes here, and then you have to mention the path of the routes here. So API post is a path of the post router, API user is a path of the user router, API profile is a path of a profile router. I will not go individually in detail. I will just grab one of the router and I will go in the detail for that particular router. So for the router, you need to create a folder like this in a parallel to the db.js, and you can open that router and you can create a post.js for the post router. You can import all of this stuff, router, post, and all these things. You need to import multer if you are working with the images, but as of now I will not show any demo for the images. If you are interested to check the images part, you can grab the code from the GitHub and you can do some R&D and you can get the images part. So this is the function I have written for the images. So now let's create a middleware first, and then we'll start with the front end part. So resource.set header access control allow origin and a wildcard character star. So it will allow all the resource sharing between all the domains. Then what kind of request and what kind of data we can accept. So we are not mentioning anything, just content type, accept and authorization, and all this kind of request we can do. So we can make a get, post, batch, put, delete, and all this kind of request methods. So this is our middleware set, and we are using this middleware, and here we are encoding our body parser just to not pass data in a raw format. Instead we'll encode the data. Now we need, yeah, one more thing. Whenever we are working with a Mongoose JS, we definitely need to create a model. But whenever we are working with a Mongo, the model is not compulsory. So initially I'm just going with one title and one content. So title should be of type string, and it is a required, it is a mandatory field. And for the backend, yeah, mandatory field, not from the front end, but it will validate this part at the backend before writing anything to the database. So this is a model we have created in a Mongoose. So we have one models folder here, and we have created one models for the post. You can definitely go through this complete code, but right now for a short explanation I'm just going through the two fields, title and content. Then we can create our route. So how do we create our route? So router is our variable name, then it is a post request, and it is empty, so we don't have anything in the middleware, we don't have any data coming from the front end. Then we have a 3-parameter request, response, and next. If we don't want to perform any operation, we can simply put a next, and the request will go to the next router. But if we are using request and request and response, then we need to mention something. So const post is equal to new post. This is our model, and we are getting the data with our front end request. So request.body.title, we are parsing our data from the front end request. Then post.save is our method to save anything in the database, in a Mongoose database. So it is our model name. It is a save method called by it is a save method provided by Mongoose MongoDB, and it is a promise. So post save dot then, it is a promise. So promise has a two part, either it will have some data or it will have some errors. So if your request is successfully, then we are sending one status code 201 post added successfully, and we are sending this post body, that is post id post, and we are creating a model with the id post. So we are whenever we are making any entry in the backend part, let's go to the backend part. Backend here I'm referring to the MongoDB. So whenever we are making any entry in the MongoDB, we are using one unique ID. If we are not giving that unique ID, MongoDB will generate one unique ID on its own. But if we are mentioning one unique ID, then MongoDB will use this as a unique ID. Similarly, we have a get request to read our data. So post.get request, this is a particular route we are expecting from the front end, and then it will go to this post.find. So we are finding the data. So it is a particular request to particular user. So whenever I am coming to my post only, then only this function will call. So we are post.find is a method to read the database, and we are mentioning one condition, that creator should be request.userdata.user_id. So user data and user ID from where we are getting. So one, you will set up your authentication system, then you will get this kind of user ID and user data. But for now, if you are not having any criteria, then it will read the complete database and it will give you all the 4 data. So whenever I am on the front page, whenever I am on the home page without authentication, still I am able to see all the post 1, post 2. So whenever you will mention that post.find without any condition, then it will give you 4 data, and if you find some data, you will have to send a response from the backend, and then you have to, if you do get some error because of some reason, you need to catch those errors. Similarly, we have a put operation. So whenever we are trying to edit any data, or whenever we are trying to modify any block, we need some unique ID. So for that purpose, So here I'm logging in, and once I log in, I can come to my post. I can click on the post and I can select the edit option. So the edit option, I'm sending this ID. So using this ID, I'm editing my post. So we are expecting one ID, and the ID which we will get, we will edit that post and what we want to edit. So this is a form data we are sending with the edit request, and once we send this edit request, we are getting a message of updated successfully, or if we get some error while editing, then we have to send the data as an error message. And finally we have a delete operation. So router.delete is a method we are going to call for the delete, and router.put is a method we are going to call the put of for the update operation. For getting the data we are using get method, and for sending the data we are using post method. So post.delete one will only delete a one block, but it will need some condition. So our condition is that it is created by some particular user ID, and the ID of the block which you want to create should be this ID. Now if you just specify post.delete, it will delete everything in your database. So be careful while working with the Mongoose database, be careful while using the Mongoose functions. So once you create a post.delete function, then it will check for the results, that if any of the documents are deleted, put result.n. So n is the number of documents it has deleted from the database. So if it is greater than 0, then it means it has deleted some data. If not, it will result into an error. So this was our complete simple backend part. Now to create our front end, we need to create one Angular application. So to create an Angular project, the command which we are using is ng-new and then your project name. So basic setup for creating an Angular project, you can Google how to create an Angular project. We are just focusing on the components which we are trying to access. So we have this Angular application ready. So we'll have one post service. In the post service, we will have 4 methods: add post, get post, delete post, and update post. So these are the 4 methods we will have. Now what we do in add post is we will send our form data in the add post method, and we will just use our backend URL with the post data. So post.append is something we want to append our data to the request body, and then we'll send that request with the data to the backend. So the backend will parse this data. Similarly, we have a get post method to get our all the posts, and then we have one get post with the ID. So we need to get this post with a particular ID. Then we have update post. So here again we are appending the form data to our request body. Then we are using a put request, and we are particularly mentioning our backend URL with this specific ID we need to update. And in the delete post we are just deleting it. Now in the HTML, this is a simple template driven form. If you are not aware about template driven form, you need to go through the template driven form first. But yeah, this is a template driven form with the two field. One is the input field, that is the title, and one is the description field, the description. So once you create a post, once you initialize a form, and once you submit the post, so if you have a post, we are just sending this raw values from the form to the service, and then we'll reset the form values, and the service will make a request to the backend. So here is our backend. In the backend URL, here we are using is localhost. So you need to make a server up for the backend as well. So once you make a request for the backend part, you make a request to the database and you get the data. So here is our post data for our front end. So this is a post list HTML where we are rendering our all the data for the front end on the UI. So in this we are just doing loop through over all the data we are getting in our get request, and then we are looping through our request, and we are displaying the data on the screen. And here is the TS file for post list. So post.ts subscribe, we are just subscribing to our method of the service, and we are just getting the data. So let's take an example, it will be much clear for you. So let's go to the front end. Now go to the network tabs. So here it is taking a bit of time to load. Yeah. So let's check. So here is our post request. We have this header, so we are requesting this URL, and this is a backend part. We are using API posts. So what it is doing, we are setting up this middlewares, and what we are getting in the response. So in the response, we are getting this kind of data. So we have 9 posts created so far from the database. We are getting this response. So whenever you are making any request on the backend part, the request will go to the routes folder, and on the basis of route you mention in the URL, it will come to here. So what URL we have mentioned is, so get post, so router.get post, so API URL will come here. It will hit this method and it will get the data from the database, and it will send this data to the front end part. So in the post list component we will have our all the data. So here is a post list method. In the ng-on-init method we are getting this .ps.getPost. So we are subscribing to this method. We are getting all the data. We are just mapping this data in our desired format, and once we get the data we are just subscribing it, and we are updating this post. And in the HTML we are looping through all our data. So here is our HTML. It is a bit complicated, but once you'll be comfortable by using Angular you will be easy to understand. So this is the post we have created. This is a loop. We are looping through the all the posts. We are displaying this post. So in this way our Angular application is connected to our backend part. This is a complete code given for all the 4 methods. That is a CRUD operation: create, read, update and delete. So this is a create post for editing. We are using same component for editing and creating the data, creating a blog post. So you can go through the code again, you can understand the code. So let's go this again. So in the create post component we are just having one form group. We have a post variable. Then we have 2 types of mode: either it is a create or either it is an edit. So if the mode is in create mode, then we'll be using a form to create the post. But if our mode is equal to edit, we will be using our form to render the edited data. So here I'll show you the URL. Whenever you are creating a post, you see the URL is hash create. But whenever we are editing the post, our URL will change. But we are using the same component to edit our post. So here is our edited post, my post, edit, and our edit ID. And we are using the same form to display our data. So you can go through this code one line by line. We have this edit mode. So if it is an edit mode, we are going to render our form to an edit mode. If it is an create mode, the ID will be null initially. Then we are calling this method to create the post. So get post by ID is method we will call when we want to edit our post. But if the ID is null, we will just create a form and we'll just submit the form on click of the form submit button. And whatever the data we have in a form, we'll just send this form to the backend part, and the backend will create an entry. And to run this application we have ng-serve command. So ng-serve is a command we want to run. So this is a demo I'm showing you live on my local host, that this is the way we are creating an Angular application with a mean stack. So you have, in this particular application I have created a profile component. I have created a my post section. You can create your profile. User can create his profile and then he can link his profile ID to the post. So here whatever the post I am displaying, I have linked my profile to this particular post. So if you want to visit somebody else's profile, you can click on their profile. Let's visit this Vinod. So this user has just created his profile, but so far he has not written any post. Similarly way you can go through this SP009. So this user has created a 2 post, you can see, and his profile is here. One more thing, if you notice that whenever I go to the public URL, I am not able to edit anybody's profile, but when I click on my profile, I am still able to edit my profile. So I just make a MK1, you can see. So my name is MK1. So you can see this is a edited part, and these are the posts created by me. So this is the way I have made an Angular application. If you like my work, please like and subscribe, share this as much as possible. And all the links of my code, all the links of this particular blog application, the live version of blog application, the text version which I have written, the complete explanation on medium.com, I will provide the link in the description. Thanks everybody.